Oi, oi! And welcome to the Orient Outlook podcast, sponsored by Carol Langley Florist, with myself, Steve Nussbaum, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend, my South Stand chum, the bearded legend, the one and only, the Daddy-O. It's Mr. Paul Levy.
Thank you very much indeed. Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Welcome back. This is episode number 414, and thanks to everyone who tuned into our last show, which was 2 weeks ago now. It's our last show of 2025. This week though, we've got a roundup of what's been going on in the last 2 weeks since we last podcasted. Quick look back at our games over the festive period, although obviously it's not fun, it's not enjoyable. So let's just get into it. Just a pre-warning, this is not the most positive of podcasts, as you will hear. I think we just crack on now, and as always we start with a word from our podcast sponsor.
We certainly do. The podcast is sponsored by Carol Langley Florist. They're based in Chingford and have served the borough of Waltham Forest and the surrounding area for over the last 70 years. They've got a fantastic team there, can do anything that you need them to do. They specialise in anything from bespoke wedding events to family funeral tributes, birthdays, anniversaries, you name it. They can do it for you, and they offer all O's fans and staff 15% off, which is a brilliant discount for everybody involved. You can get in touch with the shop a number of ways. You can give them a call on 0208 529 4130 on the phone. You can go and have a look at their website. They can be found at www.carollangley.co.uk, or you can head to social media. You can find the team on various platforms. They can be found on Instagram at Carol Langley Florist. They can be found on Twitter at Carol Langley E4, or you can find the team on Facebook at Carol Langley Florists.
Yes, indeed. Supporters Club update for you. 2 trips to tell you about here. On Saturday the 24th of January, we're off up to Bolton for a 3 o'clock kickoff. Coaches will leave at 8:30 and cost adults £42, which sounds like a real bargain. Concessions are £39 and children travel for £21. Tuesday the 27th of January, we're off back up north. Not as far though, we're only going as far as Doncaster. Kickoff for that one is at 7:45, so coaches will leave the Supporters Club at 1:30. That's a £42 fare. For adults, concessions are £39 and children are £21, and obviously those prices don't include your match day ticket. To book for those trips or any of the other trips that the Supporters Club run, you can call into the Supporters Club on a match day, or you can call the travel line on 07507 539 579.
All right, one piece of AOB and some sad news coming from the Orient family earlier today, with the announcement that popular O's fan Lottie Gatwood has passed away this morning as we record. Very sad news. I think Lottie was a face that many listeners and O's fans knew from home games and away games as well. Absolutely. Really sad news. We'd like to pass on our condolences to Lottie's family and friends. It was good to see the club put their tribute up earlier on social media, and I think if you're an O's fan and have been on Facebook or Twitter over the last couple of hours, you'll see kind of many tributes pouring in to Lottie.
Lovely lady.
Yeah, very sad news.
Very sad
today.
Sorry to lose anyone at any particular time, but rest in peace to Lottie. One other piece of AOB, as we always mention, if you are keen to support us and help us with this podcast, we have the option of Buy Me a Coffee. And we want to say a huge thanks for the constant support from Orient Ed, who is a regular supporter of ours on that site. It enables you to contribute financially if you have some spare change that you would like to support this independent broadcast that we do. Thanks to everyone who has done and anyone who is thinking about doing it. Thank you very much indeed.
All right, let's go in through the festive period that was the fortnight at LOFC. We're going to take you back to the night of our last recording, Sunday the 21st of December. As we're recording our Christmas special, Theo Archibald went onto his Instagram page to update O's fans and his followers on his injury that he picked up in that game that we were at. He said, "I'll be back in no time at all. It's only a broken rib. Thanks for all your support yesterday, O's fans. See you soon." So at the time, I think there's lots of rumours that it was a lot worse than what it was. I think fans were speculating it could be 6 to 8 weeks. We all know the spirit of Theo, we know how much of a fighter he is. It won't surprise anyone to learn that Theo returns in a couple of days.
It's just made a different stuff,
period. He is. He just doesn't know when to kind of have a rest and lie down.
It's a good thing and a bad thing in equal measure, I think.
Totally. But that obviously happened when we were recording, so we didn't cover that in the last episode, but worth throwing that one in there.
Happy Monday the 22nd of December. Then the club announced that Lamar Gordon's loan spell at South Shields has been extended for a further 28 days. So we wish Lamar all the best during his loan spell up north in South Shields.
Seems to be doing all right up there from what I can make out. So we'll see what happens going into January. All right, we're going to skip to Thursday, the 25th of December now. Merry Christmas to all of our listeners. We hope you all got everything that you wish for and had a very lovely day with your families.
Indeed. Boxing Day, Friday the 26th of December. The main event of that day was Peterborough United away, and the team was announced with Simkin in goal, Craig, Beckles, Happy and Simpson as your back four, Mitchell and Backinson, Morehouse, Wellens, Ollie O'Neill and Ballard making up the rest of that squad, with Cahill, James, Adaramola, Clare, Abdullah, Karoma and DJ making up the subs bench.
All right, just before kick-off, there was a change to the subs bench as Azim Abdullah pulled out of the squad and he was replaced by Sek Obiero. So what were your thoughts at 145 when you saw that team?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much as I expected, not seeing a lot of or enough strength in depth on the bench, no real game changers or impactors there, but good to see Zach on the bench. You?
First 11, I think I got 11 out of 11 on FanUp. I can't quite remember because it feels like
So
ages ago this game. I've got to say, I do agree with you on the bench there. You are starting to see kind of the makings now of pretty much a consistent 11 for the most part. That three up top, obviously with Ballard injured, has remained the same. And Baxter and Morehouse, I think it was like the third or fourth game they'd lined up in the middle together. So probably thinking that's the way Richie wants to play it. And you look at the bench, you've got two fullbacks there in James and Adam Marola. Claire's fairly solid, but not going to kind of win you a match, I think it's probably fair to say. Karoma, I think we'll come on to Karoma about face mask gate in this one a bit later.
Yeah.
And I think DJ, I think we're all probably at the point now where we all expect DJ to go and probably don't expect him to contribute anything, probably being brutally harsh, but this is probably going to be quite a brutally harsh podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, in all honesty. So looking at the bench and going, well, it's all right. I mean, Peterborough going into this one in better form than us. So we were saying that we were coming off the back of the win against Bradford, which kind of rejuvenated us. And you look at this one going, well, if you win the next three games in the Christmas period, like we said, you could be looking at maybe going for a playoff place. However, if we lost them all, you could be looking well over your shoulder. So at this point, it was still quite a lot of optimism coming into this one. Obviously, with Ballard coming off those two goals, I think we were fairly excited about what we might get away to Peterborough.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we'd be sort of near the playoffs now if we'd have won all three games. I mean, if buts, maybes and all the rest of it. But Phil Veazey tweeted and said, strong, like the inclusion of Mitchell. He did well coming on against Bradford. Good to see Azim on the bench. I expect him to play a role in the second half.
All right, okay. We're going to cover all these matches quite briefly because
they're ages ago.
And they're rubbish, basically, to be quite frank. So this fixture kicked off. It was Peterborough's 3,000th league game, with the hosts looking to put further distance between themselves and the relegation zone, with us aiming to get another run going following the win over Bradford City the previous Saturday.
Indeed, the third minute, a clearance saw Don Ballard in space just inside the posh box. He went on a darting run, worked his way into the box, got himself into a great position, took a shot which hit the post, bounced off Bass and went out for a corner.
Good run from him, does really well. He has so much space. I think looking back, he had so much time. He probably should have scored there. I mean, it's hard to be critical of him. He's had a very good season so far, but there seems to be at least a couple of games where you think Ballard should be scoring probably more than what he does. If he scores that, we go one up in like the third minute. It's a completely different game.
Yeah.
Completely different game. But however, we got a corner. From that corner, Wellens put the ball into the box. And Ben Woods, posh defender, almost turned the ball into his own net.
Shame he didn't. Tommy Simpkin was forced into a save from Garbutt in the 37th minute, and then again a minute later from Leonard's header. I mean, obviously, we've gone from the 3rd minute to the 37th. There's obviously not a lot that's happened in between that's really worth talking about at this point.
Absolutely. Good save there from Simpkin from the header.
Very good.
From what I saw on the highlights. 2 additional minutes were played in this half. Nothing else to report. Teams went in goalless at half-time.
David Carroll, a.k.a. Heavy D, tweeted us at half-time and said, first half, both teams have been frustrating in front of goal, and you feel this game needs a goal. The subs are going to be crucial in this game, and the team that stays alert will probably win.
Wise words there from Heavy D. There was one change at half-time for the O's. Tom James came on. He replaced Dan Happy, and 2 minutes into the half, Dimitri Mitchell picked up a booking for a high foot.
Yeah, 6 minutes into this half, Tom James was booked for pulling back Lisby just outside our box, our 18-yard box, with Tommy Simpkins saving the resulting free kick.
All right, 54th minute, Dimitri Mitchell came off. He was replaced by Teo Adamarola, and then 10 minutes later, Jack Simpson picked up a booking.
Ollie O'Neill tested Bass in the posh goal in the 73rd minute, but he saved the ball out for a corner.
Big moment 1 minute later in the match. Short corner, sort of cross played into the O's box, and the referee whistled for a penalty for the host for an alleged handball. However, after consulting her assistant, her mind was changed correctly, might I add, as the ball had actually hit a Peterborough's player's hand.
Full credit to that referee, regardless of the gender here, because I know people will pick up on the he and the she, and all. I'm not interested in getting into that conversation. She was absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
She'd made the wrong decision, and she was not too big to say, yeah, spoken to my assistant, who is exactly what he's doing, is what he's there for. Supported her, gave her they had a chat, paused, and got the right decision. Spot on. Don't see that very often, so
Yeah.
I'm making a real point of saying excellent refereeing.
Yeah, especially in the EFL. So the game carried on, it continued, and in the 80th minute, Josh Cromie came on the pitch. He replaced 007, and our final sub came in the 90th minute as DJ came on to replace Charlie Wellens. At that point, you're thinking this might be a decent point we're about to pick up here, all to play for.
For 4 minutes of added time and up in the final seconds of the game, a cross came in from our right. Beckles and Simpson went for it, with the ball coming off the head of Beckles and into the path of Frith, who was just behind Simpson and unmarked. His gamble paid off as he got his head to the ball to direct it past Tommy Simpkin and into the back of the net to make it 1-0 to the hosts.
So frustrating. So frustrating. Don't press the ball from the man who puts the ball into the box. Beckles and Simpson miscommunication. And then, like you said, Frith has taken the gamble. He's there all alone to head home. No chance for Simpkin.
I think that's Simpson's mistake massively, because Beckles is in front of Simpson, so Beckles doesn't know what's going on behind him, because it happens obviously in real time. You don't have that chance. Simpson's the one that needs to be saying, either leave it, that's mine.
Or give him the call.
Give him the call.
Yeah.
Or Simpson has to be aggressive and anticipate that Omar might miss that because of the height of the ball. He's got time. He's got an extra second on Omar to think about that and process that. And then, or he drops because he should be aware of what's around him. He's the last man back, and then he deals with Frith, and then that doesn't happen because he's attacking the ball at the same time. Tommy Simpkin's not at fault for that.
No chance. No. I mean, it's a good finish.
So for me, if you're going to point fingers, it's Jack Simpson.
All right, we'll put one on Simpson. Yeah, I mean, literally, almost the last kick of the game. How was your luck? A point would have been good. Could come away from that quite positive, and that would have given you a good feeling, I think, coming away from that. But to lose to a last-minute goal, to Peterborough as well, a kick in the teeth.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say. No time to react in this one. The ref blew the full-time whistle shortly after, as the O's fell to a Boxing Day defeat away to our host. Richie Wellens' interview has gone out far and wide. It's been up for a week and a half now. Some key points, though, that we've tried to pull out of this one. Richie goes on about poor decision-making and not being aggressive enough.
Yeah, injuries, more of them.
I think quite a comical one is that Josh Cromer actually forgot his face mask.
I think that's shameful. I think that's genuinely shameful. Whoever is responsible for that, ultimately for me, that responsibility falls on the player. I bet he doesn't forget his... I mean, you could argue shin pads and boots is probably dealt with by the kit man because that's just the level that we're at the moment. But arguably, if you know that you need an extra piece of something, a piece of equipment to play the game, you make sure that whoever has got it. Whoever's responsible for bringing it, you just check. Have you got that? Have you got my mark? Just checking you got my mark. Whoever it is, whether it's the kit man, the physio team, the medical team, whoever it is, ultimately that's Josh, and that for me is poor.
Yeah, very poor all round. And lastly, Richie spoke about the upcoming transfer window in that, and already said he knows where the problems are. I think even at this point, he said he kind of knew what needed to be done. All right, at this point in the league table, wasn't too bad. We dropped from 11th to 12th. Played 22, won 8, drawn 4, lost 10. A goal difference of only -1, not terrible.
No.
28 points. So your views, I guess, following the Boxing Day defeat, Peterborough?
Yeah, I mean, poor game, poor result. I watched a lot of that. Another defensive lapse that's cost us fundamentally. It's a regular occurrence this season. It's a reoccurring thing. Literally, there seems to be zero creativity in our team. Some are too slow, some are predictable, dare I say it, not up to the level that we need. The body language on people looks wrong, the effort, the desire. You look at Theo in his game against Bradford, you look at the game and how Theo plays. I said it, I'm repeating myself. That's the standard, and everybody else is miles off of it. Miles off of it. Even Theo on a bad day is still 100% better than most people on their average to good days. It's just, I've just never seen us have a squad that lacked as much as what we're seeing now. The league is literally there for the taking. The league is so tight and congested. We've gone over this period from 11th to 20th. That is a complete turnaround in 3 games, because that is how tight it is. And looking at the table as we sit here now, where we are on 28 points, 3 points, a win gets us up to 13th. It's unbelievably congested, and we are not taking advantage of that, and we should be. Because on paper, we've signed these players who are literally, on paper, able to get us to where we need to be. Yeah, absolutely. It's unbelievable. Posh were poor as well, but just one moment changed that game. Just one moment, right at the death, changed that game. And their manager thought they did well. I couldn't see it myself, but there you go. The January transfer window will be even more important for us now. Chance to clear out a few bits of deadwood, get rid of loans who aren't featuring and doing well, bringing in better calibre of players for me. It's tough because it's January, I understand that, but equally, that's what Dan McClune is here for.
Well, I was just going to say, you got head of recruitment, right? So, and I guess we're going to come on to this later. Like, even at this point, we know the weak area is obviously the defence.
Correct.
So you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You would hope that Richie's alluded to it plenty of times, not only in late December, but throughout the season, I think, for the most part, or definitely throughout from November onwards. So you would hope already at this point on Boxing Day, as we sit here and Richie's talking about the same old issues and the same old problems and the upcoming transfer window, the McClune and Mr. Ling and Mr. Wellings all sitting there going, right, 1st Jan, let's go.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And obviously we're going to talk about that more. So
we'll talk about it later on, yeah.
Your views on that? It seems to be the same old story this season. How many times have we said it? I'm going to say it again. You get a win and you're like, right, could this be the catalyst? Can we follow this up next week with a win? And then they go and lose. It's literally 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Had a great match the week before, coming out and beating Bradford, which we showed heart and desire and grit and really fought for it and were clinical up front. We had the chances and should have beaten them by more. And then you have this game and you're thinking a point would have been a good result.
Fair result.
Yeah, but football's not fair, really. Like, we've won games that we don't deserve to win, and we'll lose more games as well this season. Like all teams will, that you don't deserve to lose. That you should get a point in, but it just felt like the same old story for Orient this season. What I will say is, it did feel like after this defeat, patience was wearing thin. There's a few very early calls for this dismissal of Richie. There's already, I think, a few fans who wouldn't be too disappointed if he left. I don't think I'm kind of on board with that yet.
I'm not at all.
But if you take it in isolation and look at kind of the last 10 games for Orient, it doesn't make good reading. It also doesn't make great reading going out of the FA Cup to a team 1 division below you and being hammered 4-0. So if you took it in isolation as a casual football fan, you'd probably be looking at Richie's position and going, well, new owner came in earlier in the year. They were 1 game away from the Championship. 1 game, 90 minutes away, or almost from those giddy heights. And then you look at them this season, they're 1 place above the relegation places. They've got a fan base who are at their wits' end, because I say most of us probably are, at their wits' end. It doesn't look great on Richie, I will say. I think if it was any other manager at any other club, there'd be a lot more pressure on them. This board don't make rash decisions, and I think that is definitely for the benefit of the club, right? But there are plenty of clubs who I think, and plenty of chairman and boards out there who probably look at the current form and going, I know he took us up 2 years ago and I know he's done a great job here, but is it time for a change? I don't think the board feel like that, and I still think most Orient fans don't feel like that. But I'd say there's definitely, it's hard to sit here and go 100% that he deserves to be staying in there, because it's the same old problems every week, and you can turn around and say, well, these players aren't good enough, but you helped sign these players. Like, it's your team, it's your tactics. They're your players. It's what you've got to deal with. This is what being a football manager is. It's fine to say that in your post match, but what are you going to do about it? You play the same formation every week, the same style. If they're not good enough to play your way football, then
why were they signed in the first place?
Yeah, or you've got to change it up a bit more. Like, ultimately, even though we're still, I think we can say we're both behind Mr. Wellens in 100% as we speak, but sometimes he doesn't help himself, and he's got to be accountable. He can't keep saying they're not good enough, and I
haven't got players that play my style. So either adapt yourself until you can get those players in, or don't bring those players in the
100%.
first place.
Yeah.
It's a massive frustration I've had, and the conversations I've had with a couple of people in WhatsApp groups, to be honest with you, is around that kind of thing. Is hold on a minute, this is your squad. It's not your first transfer window. It's not your second or even your third. You've had a few transfer windows to get players in. Granted, I understand the argument. We've had to bring in 10, 12, 14 players, whatever the number is. It's not ideal by any stretch of imagination, but each of those players was brought in based on research and background checks and style of play and recommendations and all that kind of background check that one does. Joe White's not played a single league game for us.
Mad, isn't it?
DJ can't play a game for us because he's just not good enough. Sonny Perkins is just not there. I mean, rumours about him going to Barnet, etc., etc. And there are others that are just not cutting it. I look at Jack Simpson and think, you were playing in the Championship not that long ago. When you first come to us, and what I saw from you, really good player. But Jack Simpson's not doing it either. And that's alleged Championship standard play. Not even cutting the mustard in League One.
I think you can say that about most of the players this season. Really, ultimately, Connolly was flying when he got injured. Ballard has been decent, but Ballard's missed a few chances. But Ballard, for the most part, I think O'Neill's had a decent run since he's been back in the team. I think apart from that, I don't think many of those players can hold their heads up and say they've really had a good season so far as it stands. And these are all players who've played plenty of League One football. It's not like you've signed a bunch of kids who don't know how to manage games or do anything.
Absolutely,
you've got experienced players from Beckles to Happy, like we mentioned again previously on the podcast. You've got Tom James, who has been starting the last couple of games, who has been there, kind of done that. Left back, again, you've got people who go, well, you've lost Curry and you've lost Galbraith as your fullbacks, that's weakened your team. Yes, obviously that has, but you've had money to kind of reinvest and go and do it again. You know, some, as in anything, some transfers will work out for you and some won't. It just feels like this season there's been more misses than hits. Whereas last season, I think pretty much every signing was a hit, to be fair. And this season, you go Ballard and Connolly. Yes, apart from that, really, Corona started well and is now
faded
like a
badly.
Shadow of the player we once saw. Simkin and Kale have been in and out of the team. Obviously, we're going to speak about both of those a bit more during the episode. Craig started off alright, seems to have gone a bit backwards in the last couple of games. Massively. I think it's fair to say. Backinson, who they've tracked for 3 years, hasn't really shown it in little instances, but not any real consistency, and has probably been as bad as anyone over the last couple of games. I think it's fair to say. Other than that, no one even springs to mind because they've all been so ineffective. Adam Arola, we'll come on to. I suspect he's not even at the club anymore after not being on the squad for Saturday. Being brutally honest, you can tell Rishi don't fancy him. So a lot of stuff on there. All right, let's go through the reactions in because I think we've already gone a bit off topic that we might do quite a bit on this episode. The Orient Way. So Luke, shout out to you, wishing you a happy new year. Luke said, got the whole family up on Boxing Day to watch this match just to fall to a 95th minute winner. Should have let them sleep in today.
Yeah, you really should have done, you bad person. Gary Talbot 7 said, we were second best all game. To me, always inevitable that better sides will do us late on. Could be a real scrap from here on in.
The occasional one said, Richie's subs continue to amaze me. They actually cost us more than they help.
Orient Dart said, I'm not sure if there are any plans for January or if there is even any money, but good defensive signings are needed urgently. If that doesn't happen, we could well be looking at a relegation fight, which is ridiculous considering the attacking talent at the club.
Orient Steve 72 said, we looked exhausted from the 80th minute, like all games. Why have our fitness coaches improved? Why have our fitness coaches not improved, as fitness is meant to say? Subs ineffective, and away from the starting 11 without injuries, we are weak.
Orient boys said, so disappointing. I do fear a little for us, as the league is bizarre. 4 points from 8th, yet 4 points from the bottom 4. But in my opinion, our defence is not good enough for us to stay away from a relegation fight. Too many games given away now to have belief that we can achieve anything this year. So a lot of people are saying about how tight it is, and actually because of our defensive frailties, that actually we're probably more likely to be fighting a relegation than looking at our attacking options, which is probably more promotion.
Yeah, very true.
Crazy.
Ash Wire said, I went today to Peterborough and I'm truly disappointed with how we played. Did not show one bit of fight, aggression, literally got bullied. And if signings aren't made in January, we will be in trouble. Backinson, is woeful.
Ian Hutchinson, 08, said, Boxing Day Borefest, no quality in possession, stray passes. I feel that our exposed shape is more of a threat to us. More of a threat than us going forward. And in my opinion, the way we set up is so negative, and partly the reason we are so open and easy to play against. Too many players off it today. It's cost us big time.
Casey Adams, OFC, penultimate tweet on this one said Orient fans travelled on Boxing Day, no trains, and yet the club forget to bring a mask down for a player. Priorities are all over the place at the moment.
Good tweet. Final word goes to Miller Presidenti, who said, I still feel there's the makings of a good side within that squad, just needs to gel and get some consistency in a league that's very inconsistent. We're in a better position than last year, so let's just keep the faith.
All right, very positive tweet to go out on there. Then, all right, prediction league for this one. Nobody correctly predicted 1-0 for Peterborough. I can't believe that actually in hindsight. So as you were in our prediction league, and we'll do a full top of the table roundup at the end of the episode.
So that concludes Boxing Day. So we'll move on now to Saturday the 27th of December, and the club announced that they partnered with Legends Global, who work closely with the O's on its new stadium and wider multi-sport project.
There's probably lots of people, as we're saying this, who probably don't want to hear about this. I think it's fair to say you think the priorities could be wrong. Quote from the owner, David Gandler, said, this is a significant step forward for Leyton Orient and for our long-term vision. Legends Global brings world-class expertise across premium experiences, commercial strategy and venue development as we work towards delivering a new stadium and multi-sport campus that serves our supporters, our community and future generations. Having a partner of Legends calibre alongside us gives us enormous confidence in what we can achieve.
Yep, so that rounds that one up. So let's move on. Quiet day at the club on Sunday the 28th of December. So let's just move on to the main event of Monday the 29th.
Yeah, the games come thick and fast over Christmas. Away at Luton Town. Team was announced at 6:30 for this, with Simkin in goal. Clare, Beckles, Simpson and James making up the back four, with Backinson, Morehouse in the middle of midfield, with Koroma, Wellens, O'Neill and Ballard completing the starting lineup. Cahill, Craig, Chinedu, Obiero, Mitchell, White and Archibald lining up on the bench.
That meant there were 3 changes for the O's from the side who lost at Peterborough, as in came Sean Clare, Tom James and Josh Koroma against the Luton team, who were unchanged from their 4-0 Boxing Day win at home to Wickham. Your thoughts when you saw that?
Seen stronger O's teams, specifically that defence. I looked at that, and obviously they kind of do it by number, so you've got to decipher who you think is playing where. So I looked at that and I thought, it looks like Clare's going to be right back, it looks like James is going to be your left back, and it looks like Beckles and Simpson are going to be your centre backs from there. Didn't really feel too confident in defence. Thought in attack, thought Koroma, Wellens, O'Neill, Ballard isn't bad with the 3 behind Ballard. I was quite optimistic about what we might be able to achieve against Luton. Obviously, we only played him at home, I think, in early
2 weeks
December.
before that, yeah.
And Luton weren't great.
No,
although they're coming off the back of a very good win at home to Wickham, like you just mentioned. But I thought we might be able to have a go at them. I didn't think we'd keep a clean sheet in this one at all, to be honest. Big opportunity for Koroma, especially after he's got his face mask, and he's starting the game 3 days later. Great to see Archibald back on the bench after breaking a rib, back in the team, literally like 9 days later. Joe White on the bench, where's that one come from? Surprised by that one, I must say. Good to see Chinedo. We've spoken a lot about Chinedo. Was on loan, doing really well at, was it Wildstone? Came back, not in the squad, played in the Papa John's or whatever we're calling it these days, Virtual Trophy. Richie Reynolds, I think he said, he's not ready yet. He's not ready. Now he finds himself on the bench. With the current form of the centre-backs, maybe he is ready, or we're going to get pulled into it a little bit. Looked at it.
Happy's injured and Reg is out long term. So.
Well, exactly. If you're not going to put him on the bench for this, like what is the point of having him in your squad, right? So, looked at it. Only real game changer for me off the bench is Archibald. But again, obviously nursing a broken rib. Thought we might be able to get him at front. Wasn't too confident about the defence. You?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that's not the best. I mean, not the best side, but then you look at Backinson and Morehouse. They've played together before. Koroma, Wellens, O'Neill, decent on paper going forwards with, behind Ballard. But yeah, like you, good to see Chinedo and Obiero on the bench there, and also Theo. Will Joe White even get on? Was my thought at this point.
I think another thing to really make out there is, again, Adam Marola, who, again, as far as we're aware, wasn't injured. Not even in the squad there. He's got Clare at right back, James at left back, and Craig on his bench. Ademirola not even getting in the squad.
Tells you everything you need to know.
100%. Again, hauled Ademirola off against Bradford City in the first half.
Which actually changed the game, to be fair.
Even though
tactically,
Ademirola was limping. I don't know. We keep doing quote marks to each other. I don't know what we're doing because obviously this isn't a visual podcast. But Richie obviously said made a tactical change, and then we ain't seen Ademirola again. I think it's fair to say, which shows you kind of how far he has fallen down the pecking order. Quite a few tweets when that lineup was announced. Gorillas 1985 said, guessing Perkins and DJ are leaving in January. I guess referencing them to not being on the bench. We have no attacking players on their bench apart from a half-fit Theo. Everyone crying out for better defenders. We have no backup options for forwards either. It's a good point. I guess there are a lot of injuries keeping certain players out. But again, he's not put DJ on the bench there. He's not put Perkins on the bench there. Probably tells you again what you need to know. After seeing the squad, we have no attacking bench after we concede early. So I'm going for 3-0 at least to Luton. Fair play.
What a guess. Orient Fried Chicken kept it simple and said, return of Zorro if they remembered the mask.
Very good. Paul Red Rum. So it's okay. Very experienced backline. We need big performances from Cromer, Wellens and O'Neill, as in the last two have underperformed recently. Happy with Morehouse getting a run. He's a class act.
That's a good tweet, actually. It is a very experienced backline. I mean, Sean Clare, when he's played at right back, hasn't been particularly good compared to him being at centre mid alongside Elmirs or alongside Backinson. So I don't think right back is his best spot, but he came in as a right back. That is his position technically, I guess. So yeah, and then with Tom James at left back, it is an experienced back line, but unfortunately it doesn't mean anything this season.
Well, you know what Richie was going to say in the kind of build up to the team. He would have been keep it tight, keep it simple. They're going to get at you from the start, quieten down their crowd. It's a small, horrible ground, Kenilworth Road. It's quite simple, isn't it? Small, intense. Keep it as tight as you can. And let's try and nick a goal and shut those fans up.
Yeah.
Ultimately, and with a back four with experience, like you said, because that is an experienced back line of James and Clare, as your fullback. They're experienced.
Yeah.
And Beckles and Simpson, you'd be going, right, boys, don't do anything silly, don't do anything rash, and shut them up. We know they're not very good because we played against them in early December, like we mentioned, and they were pretty rubbish. They nicked a very late point, didn't they? They scored that late header. They're awful. So you went into this one thinking they might have won 4-0, but they weren't very good. If we can kind of take our game to them, hopefully we can get at least a draw in this one.
Yeah,
how foolish we might have been.
Stupid. Borderline stupid. So the match kicked off at a busy Kenilworth Road with the O's looking to get their season back on track against a strongly tipped Luton Town team who were looking to cement a playoff space.
All right, we went behind in the 8th minute as a ball from Anderson from defence was played into Kadua. He turned Omar Beckles. It was a good turn by him, to be fair. He ran forward and from distance unleashed an early shot that beat Tommy Simkin, which found the bottom corner of the net to make it 1-0 to the hosts.
Thoughts on that?
Hell of a finish. I've got to give credit to the player. Great turn on Beckles. Shoots very early. Maybe catches Simkin off guard, but could Beckles and Simpson do better? I think when you're looking back at that one, Beckles, the thing that really annoyed me about this goal, and I don't see Beckles do it often, is that when the ball goes up, Beckles kind of puts his hands in the air to go, what were you all doing? And I'm like, mate, what were you doing? You got turned easily. Like, who are you looking at? Are you looking at? Who are you looking at? Because you weren't looking at Simkin. I'm like, he's your man. Who do you think's going into it?
Yeah.
But good finish. But you just saw that and like your heart sank. Obviously, I wasn't there. Cold night again. Horrible, dingy little ground, Luton. And you're thinking, mate, we're behind after 8 minutes. I think at that point you're thinking we're probably not going to get anything out of this game at this point.
Yeah, it's a bad start. But you are right, it was a good goal. 18 minutes on the clock, things got worse for the O's as Luton were awarded a penalty when a corner came into the box, was headed away, but when the ball was played back into the danger zone, Jack Simpson was judged to have fouled Wells. The referee had no hesitation in pointing to the spot.
This caused quite a lot of engagement. I think Luke, the Orient Way, put up the incident on Twitter and kind of said, don't think this one's a penalty. I think a lot of Luton fans got involved. It's funny the way you see football, isn't it? A lot of Luton fans were like, he clearly takes him out. There's clearly contact. Most Orient fans are like, there's not contact. He's dived and con the referee into it. Hard one to call again in real time. Seen him given, seen him not given. But Simpson gives the referee a decision to make.
Absolutely.
Wells is such an experienced forward at this level. If he knows a challenge is coming, he's going to play on it and try and get a penalty out of it, which is what he does. So annoying, I think it's probably fair to say.
Jordan Clark stepped up made no mistake to make it 2-0 for the hosts as Thomas Simpkins diving the right way, but unfortunately unable to get there.
Penalty was well placed. There wasn't that much pace on it. I think Simpkins may have been disappointed he wasn't able to get it. I think he gets like a hand on it, but isn't able to get it away. But terrible start after 18 minutes. Again, we're not going to go into too much detail with these games. However, in the 37th minute, it gets even worse for the O's. There's some neat build-up play. So Kadua get away, down our right, their left. He put a cross in. It was flicked on into the path of Morris at the far post. He was all alone and unmarked. He couldn't miss. Tapped it in. It's 3-0 to Luton. What's going on?
It's like I'm sitting here rubbing my head because it's just so painful to read this back and how poor these goals are that we've given away. These defensive lapses in front. And we talked a minute and a half ago about how experienced our back four are. And here we are, within 37 minutes, we've conceded 3 goals. Granted, one was a penalty. I accept that. But we've still given them 3 goals here.
Crazy.
And literally the game's done because unless you're suddenly going to come out and have like the most worldly of second halves, you're not getting that back.
Never.
Game's done.
Never. Or you're going to lose all the intensity, aren't you, at this point?
Yeah.
44 minutes in double sub for the O's as off came the injured Charlie Wellens who picked up a knock. On came Theo Archibald and off came Josh Caroma and on came Zek Albiero.
Minute later, the O's had a chance to pull a goal back when a cross from the right found Don Ballard in the box and from close range he put the ball over the bar. When it did look easier to score.
Should have scored that. It's two opportunities in 2 games where I think Ballard really has to do better. Got to say, he's had a great season so far. More than impressed with him. I think he could end up being a huge player for the O's in the future. Like, in terms of 20-goal season strike, I think it's pretty much guaranteed. But if he takes those chances, he'll go from being a 20-goal season striker to a 30-goal season striker, and then you see some real prolific stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely.
From him. Still learning his trade, so can't be too harsh on him, but look back at that one, you're like, mate, I mean, we wouldn't have come back anyway, but to go in at 3-1 might have made it a different team to a 3-0.
Absolutely right. You get one more goal back and towels go up and they're on the back
foot. Well, like Bolton about 2 years ago, remember 3-0 down at half time.
Yeah.
Kind of pulled one back
in December.
1-2.
Yeah, just before, a couple of weeks before Christmas. That was
but
when we turned things around.
Just the way things are going, where they're just not quite hitting the back for us.
And if he does score those 2 goals, he's now suddenly sitting there, as we sit here now, as top
scorer.
goal scorer in the league. 6 minutes of time were added on, nothing further to report. We went in at half time trailing 3-0.
Alright, one tweet at half time from the Aussie LOFC who said, "We are second best to everything, we just look slow."
The second half kicked off, no further changes for the O's, who will skip forward to the 65th minute.
Yeah, the O's had the ball in the net finally. Looping header from Ballard went into the net, but the goal was ruled out annoyingly for offside, which is probably the correct decision, but who cares?
Skipping ahead now to the 82nd minute, double sub for the O's as off went Jack Morehouse and Omar Beckles, and on came Dimitri Mitchell and Big Phil Chinedu.
Yeah, alright, we're going to skip to the 90th minute. Ollie O'Neill sent in a curling effort, which was well saved by Josh Keeley in the home goal. 4
minutes of time added on, and with nothing else to report, the game came to a close with the O's defeated 3-0 in their final game of 2025.
Alright, league tabled in. That defeat meant the O's slid from 12th to 16th place in League One. At this point, played 23, won 8, drawn 4, lost 11, still 28 points, but that goal difference went from -1 to -4.
Yeah.
Bit legend. Your views on that one?
I mean, bit of a rinse and repeat of what I said before against Peterborough. We're getting worse. We're not getting better. And that's with, as we said before, with a back four that's very experienced. Richie came up with lots of reasons in the post-match interview, but all in all, either the setup is wrong with the players or the players aren't at the right level. And like you were saying sort of earlier, like it's his accountability as much as it is theirs. Maybe they don't want to play for him or us, or some sort of unrest in the changing room because some players are not getting the minutes they feel they should, that's upsetting the balance, or they're getting given a harder time, or whatever is happening. It just doesn't look good. It just doesn't. The players just don't look right. Don't want to keep going on about it. I mean, we've got a big January coming up now, as I'm reading on the 29th of December.
Yeah, I think for me, I just get my views short and sweet on it. I just thought, just when you think things can't get any worse, they do. And again, it's just a story of this horrible season so far. The only saving grace is that the division again is so tight. We've gone literally from 11th to 16th in 2 games. That you could go the other way.
Yeah.
In 2 games if you sort your form out.
Yeah.
I think the positive though at this point, again, Rishi talking a good game in his post match, saying he knows what's wrong. I think this was the one where he could barely even speak a word, where his voice was all hoarse and horrible.
Yeah, that's right, because he'd been screaming and shouting.
So, but in that though, you get the feeling that he knows what's wrong, right? And you're thinking, well, the transfer window. This was like the Monday. You're thinking, well, the transfer window opens on the Thursday. For the last couple of games in his post match when we've lost, he says he knows what's wrong. So you've got confidence that he and the committee or whoever it is or McLuhan will be able to kind of sort this and hit the ground running. And if you know where your problems are, you sort them out early and you don't kind of wait on it. So saying the right things about it. So still wasn't too really concerned at this point. Still have enough faith in him. He's got, like I say, enough credit with us here to go. He knows what he's talking about. But really disappointing defeat, 3-0 away to Luton. Really didn't see that coming, off the back of us seeing Luton when we played them at home.
Yeah.
We looked like quite two evenly matched teams, right? But then you look at the goals. First one's pretty bad defending, but he takes it really well. The second, maybe unlucky with a penalty, and the third's just awful. And the third just kills the game off. You can argue that after that we keep it kind of solid, but at that point their intensity's probably dropped massively.
Massive, yeah.
They don't need to come out and...
They don't need to, they just manage the game.
They just see the game out and keep it out. Again, a big positive for that is Chinedu, who isn't good enough for League One football, according to Richie, as Richie has said, gets about 15 minutes of game time in League One at probably one of the highest budgeted teams in League One in terms of the attack that he's facing. So that was one of the few positives to be taken out of that evening. Like you'd imagine, a lot of views after this one. We've kind of cut them down. We'll read the ones that we found relevant and ones that we haven't mentioned by any of the same users. Boatsy said, Dyer, first half really cost us. I think the season is a write-off already. If we can avoid a relegation fight, for me, that would be a success.
David Sears 3 said it was diabolical, dropping like a stone. Defence is awful, leaking goals for fun, and our midfield is a huge issue too. Very worried for the remainder of the season. The biggest budget we've ever had and likely to result in relegation the way things are going. Richie is not exempt from blame.
Matty LOC Evans said the Welland stourness is growing. He may be super to some, but he isn't a miracle worker. Been found out too much this season, and the squad he has moulded has the backbone of a curly whirly, easily breakable. Pressure must be mounting on him.
Patrick One Flood said Beckles was poor again, a bad penalty decision to go against us. Ballard missed a sitter. We can only improve in 2026, otherwise we're on a course to go down a league.
Orient _Ed said, where do we start? A complete shambles. James has done one good thing all game. Simpson was pathetic, and Omar all at sea. Only positives. We're seeing Theo on the pitch, and once again setting the standard, plus Ballard's work rate. Luckily, we didn't concede any more. Changes are needed, big time.
Confused Magyar said the fans were class. The front line were doing about as much as they could given the minimal service they received. The defence though, my God, at this point, no point playing any of them because they're just so sloppy. Bring in some youngsters, give them a chance.
Chat Leighton, so people can blame the players, and yes, they are to blame, but it starts at the top. A change is needed, a new voice is needed, as we are heading one way and it's not upwards. We are now only 2 points off the drop.
Trouser Techno said another poor first half performance aided by a dreadful refereeing decision to give Luton a penalty condemned us to another defeat. It was slightly better than the second half, but this was the bare minimum expected. It's simply not good enough, and new recruits are required if we are to stay in League One.
Marcus Maynard said there were some very, very poor players in this squad. The defence is awful. They collapse so quickly. The fight just isn't there. Last summer, they seemed to have decided the dressing room could handle a few more passengers in terms of character. They were clearly wrong.
Jord _A82 said, it's embarrassing. How much more of this utter garbage do we have to endure? I'm waiting for Welland's excuses tonight. The ref, the pitch, tiredness, the recruitment has been woeful, and I think the buck should stop with him as manager. Can he get the best out of this group?
Daniel _D44 said the only positive is that the result could be a blessing in disguise, as the board should now realise if they do not invest in new players in January, we are going down. Shocking first half. Midfield were overrun and Karoma was a disgrace. Obiero has to start the next game. I swear we can't win a 50-50. or second ball. Lots of good points there from Daniel.
Yep. Scott G 1991201 said back into the Morehouse doesn't work because the former can't impose himself or complete a 5-yard pass. Done 2 good things since signing and that's it. Stealing a living. Wimbledon is a massive game and we simply have to win. Also, if Obiero is the second coming, then let's just start him now. He'll learn a lot more playing through this than shipping him out to a League 2 team.
Good points there again from Scott. The tipping Tim. So I'm going to sound very happy clappy, but Defo seemed worse 3-goal losses. We created loads of chances and got good areas countless times. Alas, the back line is appalling and there was no functional holding midfielder on the pitch. So we're 2 goals down before we kick off most weeks.
Sean Mercer _ so recruitment's been awful and too much loyalty shown to players. Last season we overachieved, but with the investment from David Gandler, it should have been more than enough to go for it again. We need 4 or 5 signings in January or we are in a relegation fight.
Penultimate tweet on this one goes to birthday boy today, Charlie _ Paul, who says we've been too loyal to some for far too long and it needs to end now. Try and get as many of the average players out as we can. Appreciate Richie needing to be diplomatic pre-match, but only 2 or 3 players to come in. Double it, absolute minimum. We'll see how serious Mr. Gandler is in January.
Yeah, I mean it's easy to spend someone else's money.
It's easy to spend someone else's money.
5 mil already or 4 mil, whatever it is.
It's also easy to say, get all these players out now. Like
to who?
A, to who? B, if you're Josh Corona or Backinson, I'll name 2. You're on a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
You got 2.5 years left.
Yeah.
Of what I imagine is a pretty good League One wage because you had other clubs vying for your services.
Yeah.
You ain't going nowhere.
No.
Club aren't going to write off a 2.5-year contract. They're not going to pay up on a 2.5-year contract. No. And I can't see many clubs who Backinson or Corona will want to go to. I think it's probably evident for most players who are under contract for at least another 1.5 years, 2.5 years. You can't just rip up contracts and go, see you later guys, you're not good enough, you're rubbish, get out of the club.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It does not. You'd have to pay them up to get them off the books, and Orient won't. I'd be amazed if they pay up anyone's contract. And I can't see clubs paying a decent fee for any of these players at the moment.
No.
So what? No one's going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly right.
Ultimately, it's great having this consistency, and this is the consistency in the squad that Richie has wanted, that we've all wanted, but for good players. And when your players aren't that good, it works both ways. You're kind of stuck with them, ultimately, or most of the new recruits who come in, at least another 1.5 years. Or again, the longer term ones, another 2.5 years.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
This is what we all wanted, though.
T-Mac Returns has the final word this week, constantly trying to find anything to be positive about, but the truth is that this season has been rubbish. We're closer to the drop than anything else at the moment, and that says it all.
It certainly does. Good tweet to end on. All right, so that was Luton Town, the Prediction League update. What's the world coming to when we've got lots of predictions about a 3-0 defeat that are all coming right? So Steve White, LOFC, David Sears 3, Lovey _ Orient, Billy Carroll 21, E4 Wizzo, Kid Samsono, Gorillas 1985, Wadsey, and Jockney Reject all got 3 points because they all predicted 3-0 to Luton Town. And a top of the table roundup will follow later on in the episode.
Excuse me, it will do, and shame on you for getting that correct. Tuesday the 30th of December said the club announced that Abdi Mohammed has joined Canvey Island on loan until the 25th of January, so we wish you good luck, Abdi, on loan.
All right, moving on to Wednesday the 31st December, New Year's Eve, and a quiet one down at the O's.
Thank goodness, but New Year's Day brought no cheer whatsoever. Happy New Year to you all. It was AFC Wimbledon at home, and 5 minutes before the team announcement, the O's announced that Stoke City had exercised their right to recall Tommy Simpkin due to injuries in their squad, and he ended up starting their game away to Hull City, and not only did he start, he kept a clean sheet.
Well, it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but obviously when the club announced it, they didn't announce that he'd been recalled to play. It was just he's gone back to Stoke City. Yeah. So you had people going, brilliant, he's gone. I thought he was going, didn't rate him, blah, blah, blah. Whereas, like we've just covered, it transpired that they'd recalled him, not because he wasn't playing for us.
Because they needed him.
Because they needed him.
Yeah.
And he plays, and he's played 2 games since going back, and he's kept 2 clean sheets.
Good goalkeeper.
He's headlined.
Fantasy football.
He's the local hero down there. Yeah. Local boy, done good. He was interviewed after the Hull away game. Don't know if you saw it. Wearing Jamie Donnelly's jacket.
Yes, that I picked up on that. Yes.
Wearing Jamie. What?
It was
What
that
world
quick.
we live
It
in?
was just that quick, wasn't
He
it?
literally says he got a call the night before from Mark Robbins asking him to come down. He finds out the morning he's going to play the game. He said he was preparing to play Wimbledon at home. He'd done all his research on Wimbledon, preparing to play that. 24 hours later, keeps a clean sheet away at Hull. He's a first team championship player. He kept his place, kept another clean sheet away at Carrow Road today at Norwich.
Yeah.
And we're sitting again, he's not good enough for Orient.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Just shows you, right?
100%.
Just shows you.
The contradiction. The absolute contradiction that football is.
Just shows
It's the
you.
biggest contradiction in the world. You'd argue that he's playing in front of a better playing behind a better defence.
Of course he is, but he's playing against much better attacks as well.
True.
He's played away at Hull City, who were the form team going into that one, against McBurney and Reinhardt, who would Hull City scoring for fun, keeps a clean sheet, and Norwich City, who were starting to get their form back against Josh Sargent and Macumba, or whatever the guy's name is, who's scoring for fun for Norwich in the Championship. He's kept 2 clean sheets. Fair play to him. There's no way he's coming back to Orient now.
No.
Forget about it.
No.
So now you've got Sol Bryn, established Championship keeper.
You're welcome.
Been with us. Vigaroo,
Yeah, you're welcome.
established Championship keeper,
Josh Keeley.
League One.
Yeah.
And Simkin at the moment,
Simkin,
who
yeah.
could, if that Stoke keeper's out for a while, could be another established keeper. It's 3 established keepers who all been at the club. Let's see what happens now. But I've got to say, fair play, Simkin. Didn't have, I guess, the most successful of loan spells, but
No.
it's definitely shown us what we're missing. Because obviously when that came out, you had fans going, good, he's gone back, not good enough to play for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone's checking their phone saying Simpkins kept a clean sheet.
4 days later, he's
Yeah,
got 2
yeah,
clean
yeah.
sheets, and we've lost twice.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yeah.
go for that. All right, the team was announced
What a
5
change.
minutes later of Cahill in goal, Clare, Beckles, Simpson, James making up the defence. The same defence as the defence at Luton. Backinson and Obiero Morehouse making up the midfield, with Archibald, O'Neill and Ballard making up the 11, with Phillips, Chinedu, Craig, Mitchell, Wellens, Karoma and Lloyd making up the subs-bench.
Thoughts on that when you saw that a quarter to 1, a quarter to 2?
Again, wasn't there and kind of loosely following it. Again, looks okay up top. A few changes there. He's obviously brought Obriero into the midfield to maybe make that a bit of a stronger position, but obviously at the expense of Wellens, who obviously came off against Luton. But again, Archibald, O'Neill and Ballard, thinking Wimbledon aren't doing very well. They're probably one of the only clubs at this point in the league who are in worse form than us. I think they hadn't won in 10, I think it was, or they were on a real bad run that saw them kind of fall down the table after a really good start. You're looking at it going, Ballard and O'Neill and Archibald should have this defence on toast.
Yeah,
like ultimately, that's what I was thinking in my head. Again, looking at the bench, going Karoma, hopefully if he can kind of pull his form back. And Alfie Lloyd back in the squad after his injury. I mean, Alfie Lloyd, lovely guy, had him on the pod, great personality.
Great.
On the pitch, I mean, for a loan signing, for a forward loan signing, not to beat around the bush, he hasn't scored for Orient yet.
He's barely played though.
He's had decent minutes off the bench now. I think if you put his minutes together, I think you'd probably be looking at least triple figures now for minutes off the bench. And in terms of the 1 or 2 games that he started in the Virtue Trophy. So looking at it going, oh, it's not bad. Whose chance for Obiero now, really, getting on the pitch against Luton, starting this game? You felt if we won this game, Obiero would probably keep his place in this one. And I finished by saying in my views, again written at the time when that team was announced, if we defend well in this game, we win, ultimately. If we defend as a unit and defend and work hard, we win this game.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the fact that Obiero's come in. I like Morehouse that's been pushed forward into that 10 roles, and then you've got Archibald and O'Neill playing either side of him. Very strong front 4 for me. I like that a lot. The concern that Obiero coming in next to Backinson, it's a different dynamic, so let's see what that brings. But yeah, again, at back 4, don't like Clare at right back, to be honest with you. I'm really not that keen. But
again, Adam Marola still not in the squad.
Just about to say, not even on paper. Not even on paper. Good to see Lloyd back. Chinedu again on the bench, but that's it. I'm just not very. I just don't know. I'm just not very excited by all of this because on paper we should win that, and like you say, if we defend well,
win it all day long.
We win that because Archibald, O'Neill, Ballard, Morehouse can all do damage, and their back 4 didn't look that great. Their number 6 looked like a pub player.
Well, I mean,
had the build of a pub player, but he was everywhere he needed to be. covering, read the game really well. Never judge a book is what I learnt off that.
All right, good points. All right, a few tweets came into us when that team was announced. Clark Can 100 say the best form of defence is attack. Let's hope we realise that with it back four.
James O'Hagan said, not a lineup filling me with confidence following the past few games, but this team does have a habit of suddenly clicking and proving me wrong. Fingers crossed, and given some of the names not in the squad, I can only assume they've played their last game for us.
Yeah, to go back to that, no DJ again. No Perkins again. White, who was on the bench for Luton, now no longer on the bench, I guess, at the expense of Lloyd, who's come back in.
Yeah.
So probably, again, tells you all you need to know. All right, match kicked off on New Year's Day. Both teams out of form, looking for a win to start 2026. Both teams also tied on 28 points in League One. So again, win this, you would stay above. I think we're above Wimbledon on goal difference.
Like 13th versus 14th, yeah.
Yeah, so we knew we'd stay above them. So an important one not to lose, especially on the back of 2 defeats as well recently.
Yeah, and it started really well for us because in the 5th minute, after some good build-up play that saw the ball fed to Ollie O'Neill out wide on the left, he drove into the box, passed to Robiero, and some neat football saw the ball flicked to Don Ballard inside the 18-yard box. I don't think Don was prepared for that ball to come in, but he adapted and adjusted his feet really quickly. He got the ball out of his feet, fired his shot into the bottom corner past Bishop to make it 1-0 to the O's. I thought that was a fantastic goal, well-worked goal as well.
No, it's got a harder finish than the Luton miss and the Peterborough miss, which makes it, I guess, a bit frustrating. But no, look, he's doing well. Another goal for him. Again, on course to get 20 goals this season.
Yeah.
Good finish for him. And at this point, you're thinking our home record has been pretty good. They have lost their last couple of games. This should be an absolute walk in the park now. Get another one in the next couple of minutes. This could be like 3 or 4 or 5 now.
Yeah.
That early goal. All the pressure taken off the team with that early goal. Let's just go and trounce them. Ultimately.
But unfortunately...
No, that isn't what happens. Tom James went down in the 10th minute. He couldn't continue. He went off. And 2 minutes later, Dimitri Mitchell came on to replace him.
Fast forward to the 22nd minute now. Wimbledon equalised after some neat play. Saw the ball come to Seddon on our right. With time to spare, he sent across into the box. Simpson missed it. Dimitri Mitchell's effort to clear the ball and beat Smith saw him turn the ball and direct it into his own net to make it 1-1. I thought that was poor defending. Smith got ahead of Mitchell against the run of play. It's been mostly us to this point. This is the 22nd minute now. Just not at it.
Bad defending. I think Seddon's got so much time on his left.
100%.
On our right. He had so much time to put that cross in.
Far too much time.
And yeah, Mitch, again, a really nice bloke, Dimitri Mitchell. I can't work out where his best position. I think I said it before. He's not quite a wing back. He's not a full back. He's just a wide player. But we don't play. It's not Wellington's system isn't a wide player system. And Smith, I guess, probably honest, maybe too strong. I think Mitchell does well to get ahead of the ball or gets to the ball first, but obviously directs it into the corner of the net. Again, Cahill can't really point any fingers at Cahill for that one. No chance for Cahill. But really, from a defender's perspective, very poor goal to concede.
It shows that the attacking player was more alert, had more desire, anticipation, and thought about what might happen compared to us. Absolutely. And you're right, we didn't stop it at source. We had acres of space to put that in the danger zone. And that's exactly why you put the ball in the danger zone, in the hope that if one of your players don't get it, one of the opposition players turn it into their own net, which is exactly what happened here.
Yeah, all right, so 1-1, 33rd minute. A Wimbledon long throw was flicked on. Came to Zeko Obriero, who spooned it, thankfully, just over the bar. And what a comic as that would have been.
Yeah, from the resulting corner, though, the ball was recycled into the box with a header from Lewis, was spilled by Cahill, who recovered to keep the ball out. That was very dangerous.
That was squeaky bum time.
That was he just stopped that in front of the line. Yeah.
I can't even imagine what the reaction would have been in the south stand had that ball gone in.
Oh, it would have all hell would have broken loose. Killian would have, his ears would have hurt. They'd have probably bled.
God. All right. 4 minutes of time were added on at the end of the half. Nothing to report. The referee blew up. 1-1. Teams tied at half time.
Yeah, 8,652 were in attendance with 1,247 who made the journey down.
All right, few tweets at half time. Yeah, Richie. I mean, they were well supported. They're always going to be
noisy, good songs, various songs. Yeah,
probably smart blood as well. Once they scored, probably thought given the form that they might be able to get back into it and take the win. Richie J. Bourne. Every time when Wimbledon have a corner, we bring everybody back. Surely the coaching team can see there is no outlet. They have 2 bites of the cherry. If it's headed away, it's a free chance to put the ball back in. Don't give opportunities when you have a bad defence.
Doe Lewis said, our complete inability to defend never ceases to amaze me. Their left back with a free cross every single time. Why not switch Theo and Ollie? Try and pin him back. Ball retention has been awful.
All right, no changes for the O's at half time. And in the 49th minute, a cross was sent in by Smith from our left, and Bugle got his head to it, looped the header towards goal, which just went over the bar.
Thank goodness, yeah. On the hour mark, though, Alfie Lloyd came on to replace Jack Morehouse and Charlie Wellens replaced Ollie O'Neill.
All right, Zach Obiero was booked for a cynical foul in the 66th minute after a hospital pass clearance from Cahill win to an opposition player. I haven't seen that one. That wasn't on the highlights.
Right, absolutely comical. He's cleared it to one of their players, and Obiero took one for the team.
Fair play then.
Yeah. That was. I've got no problem with what Zach did. That was clever. That was a good thing to do. Don't know what Cahill was thinking there. That was really poor from him. Too rushed. Wimbledon took the lead though in the 68th minute after an attack saw them with a man over on their left, and that happened a few times. A few times that was happening. They were overloaded on one side. Seddon again sent in a cross from the far post. Was volleyed home by Hippolyte to make it 2-1 to Wimbledon. And again, poor defending from us.
Took it well on the volley. Yeah. Poor defending. Again, he's got so much time. I don't know. Again, I wasn't there, so I don't know if that's supposed to be Theo's man or if it's Ollie's man or if it's Claire's man. But Seddon, 2 assists. And let's not beat around the bush. Seddon isn't exactly blowing League One a new one. Like, I never heard of him before. Like, ultimately, he's nowhere in fantasy. So he ain't getting the 2 assists every week. Barely even getting 1. In this game, he's got 2.
Yeah.
Easy ones. Had so much time. And from what you said, he probably could have had a few more.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, but...
Well, Ollie had gone off, so this was either Charlie
or
Wellens
Claire.
Or... Well, Sean Clare being the right back.
Yeah.
And then either Charlie or Theo. I can't imagine it being Theo, but...
No idea. Terrible. Again, I wasn't around New Year's Day. I saw that come through, and again, heart just sank.
Yeah,
what is going on? All right, we're going to skip to the 75th minute. Final subs for O's as Tyreek Backinson and substitute Dimitri Mitchell were replaced by Josh Koroma and Michael Craig. What?
Nothing says you're not doing very well by subbing the substitute. I mean, he came on in the 10th minute to replace Tom James. Yeah. So that was an enforced substitution. Yeah. But nothing says you're having a terrible game, you're not doing very well, just negative out, whatever, insert negative comment.
Yeah.
Nothing says you're doing badly by being substituted in the 75th. So he played just over the hour mark.
Yeah. All right, we're going to skip now to the 86th minute, and AFC Wimbledon sealed the points and extended their lead when Hippolyte won a free kick outside the box after he was fouled by Michael Craig, and up stepped Marcus Brown to take it. His free kick beat the 4-man wall, and with Cahill rooted to his spot, the ball hit the back of the net to make it 3-1, game over, go home, Happy New Year. Awful. I mean, that free kick. If we're Wimbledon fans, we're going, Brown has done an absolute smash it, right? Yeah. We're Orient fans, right? That wall was useless. Might as well put me in the wall. Me, you, and 2 of our South Stand chums could have gone on that wall and maybe jumped a bit better to get there. That wall don't even get off the ground. Beckles is the only one who leaves the ground, and his jump is awful. And Cahill shows so much of the goal to Brown. All Brown's got to do is loop it over the wall, which is what he does perfectly with a bit of pace. And Cahill's never getting there in a month for Sunday. So yeah, hits the free kick nicely. But defensively, Cahill, no man's land. That wall was shocking.
Agree.
In my mind.
Yeah,
anyway.
Totally agree. And Cahill kind of went for it, but then was wrong-footed. Just to come back very quickly, I didn't understand why Mitchell was taken off. I thought he was having an okay game, to be honest with you. So that's purely my opinion, but just wanted to mention that as I hadn't mentioned it before. But yeah, that free kick, yes, if you're a Wimbledon fan, it's a great free kick. As an Orient fan, it's a terrible free kick.
Awful.
It was almost another one shortly after. Callum Maycock was played through on goal. Cahill stood up big and strong and made the save.
Lucky, I wasn't there. Like I said, I can't even imagine what would happen had it been 4-1 if they would have nicked the fourth later on. I think Cahill done well there to actually stand up and make that.
So many people. There was a mass exodus at 86 minutes.
I bet.
Yeah, they're singing "Is There a Fire?"
I can't blame anyone.
No,
I can't blame anyone.
We literally hadn't tested Bishop this second half. We haven't mentioned a real effort.
No. Of course.
He's not made a single save. this half, and we're now coming up to 90 minutes,
Awful.
right? Because Jack Simpson's about to get a booking, right?
He is. We don't know why he got booked. Neither did the club's official Twitter feed. He got his booking. Neither did you from what you'd written in there. 89 minutes.
I think it was probably mouthing off.
Probably mouthing off, right.
They call it dissent these days. But yeah, Bishop's not been tested.
All right, 4 minutes of additional time went up on the board. In the first minute, Josh Kramer sent in a cross off from the right, took a deflection. Bishop did well. He tipped the ball onto the bar.
Yes.
And the ball was cleared.
Good save by Bishop.
Yeah, don't worry
had
about
to be
Bishop.
alert there, and otherwise that genuinely would have been a goal.
Don't worry.
Yeah, it would have just been just under the crossbar, I think. No further talking points in this game as it came to a close as we fell to our third defeat in a row with boos ringing out from the south stand. Not the start of 2026 for the O's that we were hoping for as we fall to a 3-1 defeat.
We certainly do. Richie Wellington's interview is up on the club's YouTube channel. It's up on the club's website again. Says all the right things, knows what's wrong, talks about transfers, talks about the team, squad not being good enough. Over to you now, gents at the club. Time to sort it out. League table in that defeat saw the O's fall from 16th to 18th place in League One. Played 24, won 8, drawn 4, lost 12, 28 points. In 2 games, we've gone from a -1 goal difference to a -6.
Yeah.
Just 1 point above the relegation places at this stage. So, you were there.
Yeah.
Your views on a horrible New Year's Day?
Dreadful game. Rushed back from the sea from our. We went down to the south coast for New Year's. I was on the beach walking along, nice crisp fresh air. To 3 or 4 hours later, sitting there watching that dross. I genuinely wish I hadn't rushed back. To be honest with you, genuinely wish I hadn't rushed back. And if I didn't have a season card, I wouldn't have bothered rushing back for it. In all honesty, our form is poor. The players aren't playing well. We're not in a good place. Richie's post-match summed it up. His words were, "We're banging trouble." And we are banging trouble. And everybody is culpable. Everybody is responsible. Now, there is an element of this where the buck doesn't stop with Richie. The buck stops with the players. Because once they cross that white line, he can't kick the ball for them. He can't be in the right place at the right time for them. They have to do that. And I just think the body language, I think the attitude looked wrong from some of the players. It's just absolutely... This is probably one of the worst squads I've seen at Orient in a long time, and I don't know how we've got it so wrong. We put so much effort into getting the right players in, but I just feel that there is just something not right in the training ground, in the attitude of the players at the moment. It just doesn't seem right. The January transfer window has now become critical, not just a top-up for us. It's actually fundamental for our survival in this league as it stands at the moment for me. We need fundamental change, not some youngster from an academy going out on their first loan. We need experienced players, and I'm not talking about someone who's played 300 or 400 games. I'm not looking at that. Just someone who's got some sort of expertise and experience in their chosen position in league football. Not someone who's been playing under 23s academy at some top Premier League club. We need to be pulling players out off the bench of championship clubs who aren't getting games, who are frustrated, that want minutes, that don't mind taking a 6-month step back to play at our level, potentially earn themselves a better move in the summer. Because that's, if I was a player sat on the bench not getting many minutes at a championship club, I'd be looking to go out and be playing some football. If that meant me playing a step down, taking a step back to go forwards again in the summer, I'd do that.
It becomes hard. The further you drop, though, the harder that becomes, because you don't want a relegation on your CV.
You don't. That's also
it's
true.
Difficult.
2 weeks ago, having this conversation,
exactly, yeah. You'd be looking at a playoff push.
You'd be looking at a playoff push, and the conversations that you're having with players. But then equally, if you say to a player, "Well, all right, well, let's look at the league table." You look at us now on 28 points. 1 win, we're in 13th. Another win, we're up to 10th.
Yeah, so it's easy to get downhearted, isn't it? But it could turn. I think the thing that most is concerning most O's fans is that it doesn't look likely it's going to turn based on current form. And
it doesn't.
And next game,
is top of the table.
Top of the league.
Absolutely.
Game after that is Reading.
And no game is easier.
And then Bolton away.
It's not easy. There is no easy game in this league, but everyone can beat everyone, as we've seen, and everything is very tight in our league. There is no pull away. There's no Birmingham. There's no Charlton. There's no Wrexham. There's no one doing silly things this season. But equally, I completely understand on the flip side, if you're a player and your agent, you want to be getting as high as you can.
Of course.
You want to be getting as big a contract as you can, and you want to be playing as regularly as you can. And 2 out of those 3 don't work for you if you come to Leyton Orient, because you're not playing as high as you can if you're coming out the Championship. You're not being paid as much as you can get if you're coming out the Championship, arguably, because what we can pay versus them. But you will play with us. So it just depends on what your balance is. Thoughts on that loss?
I literally had one. I was away, so I missed the game. I didn't rush back like you did,
Yeah.
and I couldn't have made it back in time anyway. I literally just said this has to be a wake up call. Like AFC Wimbledon at home, biggest respect to AFC Wimbledon. We should be whipping them. It shouldn't even be a close game. We should be beating them.
Correct.
Comprehensively.
Yeah.
Especially when you go 1 up after 6 minutes. Again, not being there, I don't know what happened. There's a lot of tweets that allude to when Tom James went off, something changed on the pitch.
It massively changed. Yeah, the balance was different.
Balance was different.
Because Dimitri's
a lot of people said heads went down at 1-1. Again, there doesn't seem to be many. There's going to be again a lot of tweets about no leadership, no leaders on there. Beckles has done a great job for me as a leader. Again, you look around, who else should be leading Riyadh team? Again, it's an experienced back four. They're all experienced. Simpson,
all of them.
Mitchell has got a lot of experience. Claire's experienced. Backinson in the centre mid is experienced. So it's not like they're all kids, like we said before.
Exactly
like it's a young front line.
Theories.
Morehouse is young in the 10, but the back four and Backinson. That's 5 experienced players
not new.
who should be able to kind of lead you forward and G up the younger ones. Yeah. So, very disappointing result. Like we said, we're 4 days in now. Miracles won't happen overnight, but they really need to kind of get their fingers in gear. I was going to say they need to get their in gear, right? Because to go back to reality, today Wimbledon lost again away to Wickham 2-0.
Yeah.
Easily, right? And we've got a team coming to us that we'll cover later. Who, if we play at home to Cardiff,
we'll lose 5-6-7-0
easily. It won't even be. It won't 6-8. It won't even be close. So, very disappointing result. Peterborough go right. Go 3 games over Christmas that we've gone through. Peterborough last minute goal deserved maybe a bit of luck getting 0-0 fair.
Yeah, should have been a 1-0 would have been.
0-0 would have been not terrible. Frustrating on anything else. Luton Town diabolical. I think it's probably fair to say. 3-0 away. You go all right. Beat Wimbledon. It's 3 points from 9. Not great, but right. But Wimbledon was the one where you thought would be given.
Yeah.
However, it's 0 points from 9.
Yeah.
A pretty much awful Christmas. And if people want to keep going on about previous runs we've made, by this point those runs have already started. So this time last season we'd started our resurgence and we're already kind of going up the table.
There's no resurgence.
And that resurgence where we were kind of in a similar position 2 years ago had already started now, where we started beating teams, whereas at this point that hasn't quite flipped around yet. So there's a bit of pressure, I think, going into January now. So disappointing result. As I say, I like Johnny Jackson. I think he's a decent manager, but we should be whipping them boys at home.
Agreed.
And away, to be fair. So
really nothing special.
You can tell if you follow us on Twitter, there was a huge reaction to this defeat, as expected. Lots of good points coming up. Conway_Nigel started it off, said, where do you start? Yeah, we got injuries, but all clubs have them. Wimbledon hadn't won for 10 games. If it's possible, we are getting worse by the game, and presume we will get Richie's usual moments, quote, later. We are now in a relegation battle, for sure.
Lovely _Orient said, need new fullback, centre back, goalkeeper, and arguably a centre midfielder. Tough watch that was, but some players just aren't up to it any longer. That was a bad result.
Dirk, Turks, we are in serious trouble. This current squad is taking us down. No excuses. We need new signings and quickly. None of this. We've got the whole month.
Garrick07 said, for the first time this season, I think we could go down. Defensively dreadful, complete lack of confidence caused collapse after they equalised. The summer business was unbalanced. Clearly, the defence is nowhere near League One standard, and business needs to be done and fast.
Tommy Atkinson 6 says, I'm not usually one to go off on the team, but what alarms me the most is I couldn't see more than a glimpse of passion, desire, or fight, or whatever you wish to call it, in that team today. Also, isn't the captain meant to be galvanising his team on the pitch? What is happening, lads?
Orient Dave said, atrocious second half after a mediocre at best first half. Sleepwalking towards relegation. There can be no excuses for that. Weren't even up against a good team. No leaders, no one wanting it, no one prepared to scrap. The subs made no impact. It was abysmal.
We've seen so
Agreed.
many tweets over the last couple of games about subs making no impact. I
Yeah.
mean, Lloyd's had half hour. We spoke about Lloyd, obviously, like when he was included on the bench. Had half hour on this, like done nothing. Like Karoma's getting on, not doing anything. From an attacking perspective, it's just not.
If anything was going to happen once Alfie Lloyd came on, he was trying to make it happen because we went 2 up front, and he was trying to make the runs. He made Theo Archibald was making good runs. Do you think he was found with any of them? Because Sean Clare just went in a different route. Theo made we were saying it where we were sitting amongst us. Look at the runs that Theo's making to lose his marker, who was literally like Velcro to him, but he was losing him, and Sean Clare just went with a different pass, completely different. Didn't even pick it up.
Frustrating. Apostolos Andre Nine said, we have an invisible midfield. They exercise no control of the play. They create nothing going forward and leave the defence exposed. I've been witnessing this on a regular basis, and today was probably the worst midfield display of the season.
Crime to Courtroom said, dreadful. Whatever the system we're playing, it isn't working. We seem to be a man short in the middle and no one central when we get the ball up the pitch. Defence is horrendous as per. Big changes needed, including a new captain.
Chef JK94 said, for me, only Obiero, Theo and Ballard can hold their heads high after this one. Not sure what Cahill was thinking with that free kick. Other than that, a poor display. New keeper, a left back, a centre back, and a ball-winning midfielder desperately needed this month.
Good tweet. 1881 Will said, we don't have the players with football brains. It looks like we don't practice defending or know when a clearance is needed. It certainly looks like we don't know how to take an attacking free kick or corner or defend them. Absolutely mad that we are still like this.
It's a good point. I can't remember the last time we scored from a corner.
Nope. I can't remember either.
Or like a centre back's got his head onto a corner.
Yeah.
Or looked confident defending corners to, I guess, flip it as well the other way. Good tweet again. JME Ray 72 said the club needs to acknowledge we are in a relegation battle. No leadership on the pitch leads to terrible game management. We have a 6'4" centre backs who never get near a corner defensively or offensively. Fair point.
Absolutely spot on. Gould Howard said, little old Leighton Orient are well and truly back. Gutless and clueless performance, and the management must take a lot of the blame. Not sure this team would be League 2 standard. Can only hope there will be 4 teams worse, as not looking good. How long before we start singing The Great Escape?
Essex Biz said, yeah, let's sack the manager just as the transfer window opens. Very clever. The usual suspects are spouting the usual nonsense. Richie has credit in the bank, but we need reinforcements and decent ones in as early as possible. Several players have not lived up to expectations.
Evie Stark said, silly question, but what does Simon Royce, our supposed goalkeeper coach, do?
You mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, or we mentioned this on the pod, haven't we?
Yeah.
We don't quite know what is being done in terms of, do you come for crosses, do you not? Simkin again is a prime example. Looks shaky as hell in League One. Shaky as hell. Goes to the Championship. 2 away clean sheets. What is different?
What is he being coached?
I don't know.
I said it. He's
know.
also part of the set-piecing coaching team. Time for a change. Richie needs to take responsibility. The players aren't motivated. They're dejected with all this over-coaching. Why Sean Clare, when taking a throw-in, looking over to the bench and asking what to do with it? Now, that's Evie's point of view. That's fine. We don't know. Like, it's disrespectful for us to sit here and say, what is that individual doing? What is that individual doing? All we can say is it looks like certain things are being coached into the players to do certain things or not do certain things, and it's not helping us at the moment. That's the observation. We're not saying people should get sacked.
No, you can only call it how you see it, right? And again, I don't know what they do on their training ground or what the drills are and what they're working on. However, when you see, or you can judge that team on it, the 90 minutes that you see them in action for, and when they're looking unfit, half-assed, looking for reassurance when they're going to take a throw-in or looking at Richie, like what are they doing? When your keepers aren't coming off their lines for corners or free kicks or any type of set pieces and look flappy and nervous, especially when they go to a club a higher league up and they put in fine performances, it's obviously been told to do things differently. I don't think you have to be a genius to see that. Like ultimately, you can only call them how you see them. Like ultimately, good tweet, Toby of Loxley. To something that I think most people don't realise is that it's so difficult to find a good manager these days. If we sacked Richie, we could spend years and years flicking through managers, reminiscing on the Wellens era, saying, why did we sack him? I have faith in Richie, he's my gaffer, and right now we have a manager who knows the club and who has a great relationship with the higher-ups, and we know he can turn it around as he's done it many times before. He needs to change things, of course, but everyone needs to be careful what they wish for. because they might just get it. That's a fair point. That's a good point. There aren't many. Again, if you sacked Richie tomorrow, look on the current market and go, well, who would you appoint?
Absolutely.
And that is the question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of clubs now going for younger coaches. I guess the merry-go-round doesn't really go round. The only one who would leap out to me is probably the guy who got sacked from Luton. Is it Bloomfield? That's the only one. That's the only one who you look at and go, possibly for me. But even he took Luton down and then was at Luton for part of this season and wasn't.
But what he was doing with Wickham was good.
Wickham was very good. Other than that, you look around and go, well, who would you want then?
Yeah.
Who would you get?
It's true. And you look, Blackpool made a change, Peterborough made a change, and both of them are now out the relegation zone. With Peterborough, I mean, Blackpool are only a point ahead of us, but they've played a game more than us. And Peterborough are now 12th on 32 points.
Well, I think I've said it before. If Richie went to Luton and Luke Williams was still available, my personal choice would have been Luke Williams. Would he have come to us? I'm not sure, because Peterborough obviously got more finances in the morning. But good appointment for them. He's got him out. Blackpool won't get relegated. I don't think they'll rip up anything. I don't think they'll do very well this season, but I can't see Ian Evatt getting Blackpool relegated. Even Port Vale, who had Darren Moore on a 5-year, he was on a long-term contract, got rid. I still think Port Vale will go down, by the way. However, I mean, they beat Blackpool 5-1 on New Year's Day.
Did they?
So they had their first win in 8. So sometimes you do get that bounce. That kicks you off, but again, I think a good tweet from Toby of Loxley.
Jed_Watson said, time to stop that if we go on a run comments. There's been nothing to suggest that this squad is capable of going on a run, hence the no back-to-back wins all season. No quality whatsoever in that side, just need to stay up by any means necessary now, go again next year.
CL3_ said abysmal, no experienced keeper, Beckles' legs and brain have gone, James is done, Simpson's atrocious, he can't do the basics, Clem Backerson lazy and inept, stealing money. Stealing a living, I think that's probably better to say. Lloyd is non-league. Corona is lazy. The most gutless team. Get them out. As I would say, if you want to motivate this team, right, just literally play them this episode of these tweets, because that's what the fans' perception is of you.
That won't motivate him, no. I don't think.
I hope it would. If you're sitting there as a footballer, right, and you're trying your best, and all you're thinking, all you're hearing is all this.
I don't think they are trying their best. I think that's part of the problem.
But that's what's being said, right? Get up and get going. Do something. You're taking this club down.
Do you want a relegation on your CV as well? Ed Turns said, really think we're missing Jordan Brown, a good midfield anchor who would help decrease the pressure on or increase the confidence of the defence and allow the midfield to try and be a bit more creative with less worry if we lose the ball. At the moment, we are second to everything.
It's a great point about Jordan Brown. A lot of people talk about the fullbacks, right? Losing the fullbacks is more exposed. I think losing Jordan Brown is a huge thing as well.
It's that triangle, isn't it?
Haven't replaced Jordan Brown. We've replaced him in terms of other signings coming in that position, but you haven't replaced the quality or the work rate that he has. Backerson isn't close to a Jordan Brown, ultimately. Elmis is a different midfielder to Jordan Brown, I think. Different, but Elmis
is more box to box.
Elmis is more box to box, and obviously he's out injured. But yeah, good point there from the real Ed Turns. The authentic Gaz said that feels like a waste of a New Year's Day. Team didn't turn up. Well, they did, but not for long. You can't go 1-up after 6 minutes. I think you've won the game. We need a complete reset. The January window is huge if we want to have any chance of staying up.
Sean Slater, THFC, said, never one to want to be negative, but where is the responsibility? Who actually holds their hands up, takes blame when mistakes and things go wrong? Feel like more leadership is needed there. There's a lot of talent, but the talent shines more when the games are going their way than when backs are up against the wall. There doesn't seem to be enough leaders to drag them through the bad spell. Typical also, Simpkin recalled, starts for his team, a league above, and keeps a clean sheet.
Yeah, MS Orient's the best player the last few weeks has been Theo Archibald. Absolutely gone through hell with his injury. Theo is the ultimate pro that actually knows what Orient means. He wears that shirt of pride. Such a good pro. And I wish we had more like him.
I agree. Doyle_Hooper said, fully behind Richie in the team, but that's a shocking result. If Lloyd squares it at 2-1, maybe we get something, but we shipped 3 poor goals. As much as the defence needs reinforcements, we miss a ball-winning midfielder who can win duels and second balls. The leaders are missing too.
Penultimate tweet, and this episode goes to Bogs_Dolix1, who said the whole of the Christmas period has been abysmal. Only 3 to 4 players have looked like they cared today. The rest were continuing their Christmas holidays, just going through the motions. Did the way a poor Wimbledon team play surprise us? What were our tactics? Are we being coached properly? I've already questioned our fitness, but it seems an absolute mess. The last 3 games we looked totally lost, worrying that we deservedly lost to a very poor Wimbledon team.
LOFC Loza has the last word this week. He says the lack of fight against a team who haven't won in 8 games, 1-0 up, we should have exploited that. Instead, we look nervous, no plan, hopeful punts down the right wings, subs being subbed, Simpson and Beckles were woeful, fouls, 3 losses on the bounce, and Richie has to own this too.
All right, lots of tweets there from the O's fan base. Prediction League update, no correct predictions for this one. So that means at the top of the Prediction League is follows. We got joint leaders in the league on 11 points. Big TB 4-7 and Kurt Mail leading the way on 10 points. Ronan LOFC, Rio_Orient and Strop_O. The Prediction League table can be found on our Facebook page. And thanks to everyone for all their predictions over this festive period.
Friday the 2nd of January now as we move on. Quiet day at the club, nothing to report, so we move on.
All right, 3rd of January, the under-18s fixture against Sutton United was postponed due to a frozen pitch at Buckhurst Hill.
Sunday the 4th of January, today as we record this, the main event was Stevenage away, but as we all know, we were meant to be in action here, but the game was postponed at 12:25 after a pitch inspection, and it was deemed unplayable by the match officials. Paul Terry briefly spoke to BBC London and said, we wanted the game on, we're going to regroup now and get a few bodies in.
All right, okay, league table. So even though our game fell foul to the weather alongside a few other games, there were some fixtures played in League One. As it stands though, some results didn't go our way. We've now dropped to 20th place in the league. We've played 24, won 8, drawn 4, lost 12, 28 points, goal difference of -6, currently 1 place above the relegation spot. So a really, really awful Christmas, I think it's fair to say, for Orient.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Ladies match, a ladies update for you from LOFCwomen.com, who says the cold weather caused most of today's Greater London Women's Premiership games to be postponed. Orient's home match against bottom club Islington Borough was one of those.
All right, these were 3 league games completed. There were 3 league games completed, however. Notably, second placed Tooting Beck played. They maintained their pressure at the top. They won 3-0 over Comets. Orient, though, still top with 27 points from 9 games. Tooting Beck have also got 27 points, but have played 1 game more and have a vast inferior goal difference. And these two sides meet on the 18th of January in the South East Regional County Cup tie, where Tooting Beck will again attempt to challenge Orient for superiority.
Yeah, next up, weather permitting, will be League Cup match against Tier 8 side United Dragons WFC to be played at Cheshunt next week, Sunday the 11th of January, and all the latest can be found on the website lofcwomen.com.
Alright, it's been a long pod. We're going to have a quick chat on transfers. Like we said, the window is now open. I guess, first of all, we've mentioned it. Tommy Simkin has gone back, not at our request. The club requested him back from Stoke. He's gone. He's had a blinder. At the moment, we've got Killian Cahill and Noah Phillips. You would imagine, you would hope, the club are looking to bring another keeper in.
Suddenly, that has probably become the key position to find someone for. And goalkeepers are a bit of a rare breed. You know, there's only one in the team. So it's going to be hard to find someone.
Yeah, and
no doubt.
I think, again, every summer we've craved a perm signing, not a young keeper. I think when Simkin was signed, I think everyone would have liked Keeley. Obviously, we couldn't afford Keeley. He goes to Luton in the summer, which we know. Simkin came in. Richie explained his reasons for signing Simkin. Said he was club's number 1 target when we got him for keeper. Got him. Obviously, he's gone back. I think if they get a kid in from a youth team or a young keeper, inexperienced, I think we're going to have the same problem. I think we need, if there's one position that they really need to get a checkbook out for, some may disagree and go it's a centre back. I actually think it's a keeper.
I agree.
Because a keeper could instill
Changes
all the
whole
confidence in the world.
Yeah.
A keeper who knows what they're doing, maybe sitting on a championship bench somewhere, maybe in a championship squad, who just for whatever reason can't get in his team. For me, that has to be the main one. Now, a lot of pressure is on the board, the transfer committee, the head of recruitment to bring someone in. They may have been sitting here this time last week going, we don't need to worry about a keeper. We've obviously got Tommy Simkin, we've got Cahill, we've got Phillips. We don't need to focus on that. Obviously, things change in football very quickly. They may be underprepared to look for a keeper. This may be what's taking possibly some time in getting a keeper. But I think for me, the keeper's probably for me the main one. You've got, I don't know how long Dan Happy's out for. I don't think they've kind of alluded for.
Should be back next week.
Alright, so Happy's back next week. So you've still got Happy, although the quality of Happy, Simpson and Beckles can be questioned. if you get those boys playing again, the quality's there ultimately. At League One level, they can probably get you through some games. They're just horribly. All of them seem to be out of form at the moment. But I really think a keeper is massively needed, and a keeper who's got a good 100, 200 games at League One level, hopefully a few at Championship level. And they are out there. They're just going to cost a bit of money to go out and get. I think for me that has to be the position that you go out and recruit for.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Our hand is now forced that's where we have to go. We have other priorities, but now that is probably the number one priority, is getting an improved, strong goalkeeper. I do agree. Who needs to come in apart from that?
I think it's fairly obvious, right? It's a defence.
Reg is out long term. We don't know when his exact return date is going to be. Dan Happy should be back for next week. And then you've got only Omar and Jack.
I don't think you're going to see a huge influx of players. I think you might see. Richie said 2 or 3 about a week ago. I think you might see somewhere between 3 and 5. I don't think it'll be huge. I don't think you'll see huge income into the club. I think keeper is a must.
Yeah.
Left back is an obvious priority, right? Teo, for whatever reason, isn't fancied. It wouldn't surprise it. I don't think anyone will be surprised if there's an announcement in the next day or two going,
he's gone back.
Thanks to Teo.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I agree. Yeah.
I think it's probably fair to say
White
he's not even in the squad, is he?
No, and Joe White. So that's 2 loan signings that haven't got worked out, and 1 that's already been recalled. So that's 3 out of the 5 loan signings that we signed this summer that are probably.
So there's 3 loan spots available, like for intents and purposes. So I imagine there's a left back somewhere coming in. We were not tagged in the tweet, but there was a tweet that we were looking at a Villa left back who's currently on loan at Swindon, having a great season. So Villa looking to recall him and get him playing higher up. I don't know if that one will come off. It's quite an inexperienced left back, but having a very good season at League Two. Maybe that one would happen. I got no idea ultimately. Yeah. So possibly that. But again, if not, you would want a left back who's kind of been there, seen it, done it in a Championship squad, or overperforming League One squad who can't find his way. The days of asking for someone like Jack Curry are long gone. No chance. I think Curry is even coming into the equation. He's cemented at Oxford. They ain't going to spend that volume of money. So I think that ship has sailed. But another player similar to that quality of mid-20s, seen there, done it. They're out there again. You just got to be lucky and find them. So left back for me, and then maybe you get one other centre back in.
I mean, Charlton have loaned Alex Mitchell to Plymouth. Plymouth are now not in the relegation zone. They're actually doing all right. They're above us. They're 16th in the league, only a couple of points ahead of us, having played a game more than us. And I don't know if he's been playing for them or not. But and I know it's not this romantic idea of getting players who've played for us back. But you know what you get with Alex Mitchell? He's a good, solid, archetypal English centre back. He's strong. He's physically good. He's good in the air. He's an aggressive player. I like a lot about what he brings. And when we played against him, when he was at Charlton last season, he was very good and marshalled the back line really, really well. So for me, I would go after someone like him, who would probably welcome a move back to London. For me, but also I think look, we're only 4 days into the window, completely on board with that. But why haven't we signed anyone yet? We went through the transfers that have been confirmed on the BBC site earlier. I think Crawley have signed 5 players, or Chesterfield have signed a couple of players. There are people getting their business done earlier. Let's be patient from coming out of different quarters is tiresome now. We've known what we've needed for a while. And I completely accept that someone, like to our point earlier, if you're a player, you want to be playing as high as you can be. Your agent will want to be getting you the most amount of money and the most highest prestigious club that they can get you at. No question or a doubt. So maybe they do leave it to the last minute before they say, all right, well, I'm definitely not getting anything here. So, all right, Orient's now an option because I'm going to be playing. I get that, all of these if, buts and maybes. But and it's not the point. The point isn't, would we want who of Crawley have signed? Would we want who Chesterfield have signed? Would we want this one? That's not the point. The point is those clubs wanted those players. Gone out, and within 4 days got those players.
Agree.
That's the point here. And we never do that, ever. Whether it's in the summer or whether it's in the January transfer window, we never are like, right, bang, we got this one done this early, or right, bang, we got that one done early. I can't imagine the types of player like we're not going to be going and signing Cunha from Man United or Declan Rice from Arsenal. It's not, we're not looking at that level of player. It's ridiculous, and it's just beyond frustrating when we know what we need. Dan McClune joined the club. Not seen anything, not heard hide nor hair of him, but he's got to show us what he's about now, what he's been signed for.
Yeah, of course.
What we had to wait several months for because Millwall made him wait and serve his notice out to prevent us from getting any kind of head start over the summer. So it's going to be a really important window for him, probably the most important window of his career from an Orient perspective.
Yeah, of course. I mean, good points there. I think established centre back. Yeah, I'd maybe see one centre back coming in. It's an interesting point about holding midfielder. There was a few tweets about that. I kind of discarded them, but then I think maybe Old Miz is out.
He's out.
Joe Wyatt.
He's probably going to
go back. Morehouse hasn't set the world alight starting, and you think
he's a different player. He's Yeah. Ebu played on New Year's Day.
Being spent. So it ain't going to be Ebu.
He played on Thursday, and then he played on the 29th.
Someone of that ilk would be fantastic, but again, they're hard to find, aren't they?
Yeah,
really hard to find. But I think you get a decent 4 in at that level, and you could very, very quickly maybe change the makeup of the team. And I think also, possibly, I think the team is crying out for a number 10. I was never under the kind of illusions that Donny would come back. I never thought that was even a chance of happening. And good luck to him at Oxford.
Yeah, I agree.
To be fair, but Morehouse isn't a Donley. Oh, I can only say it like I call it.
Yeah.
Morehouse isn't setting the world alight for me.
Agree.
He's not a Donley. If you can find out 10 who can get into those positions, and last year he was putting those goals onto a plate for Kelman. He made the right decisions. He always made the right decisions. You need a player with that level of intelligence. I wouldn't mind a young player coming into a 10 role, but it'd have to be the right 10. But I don't know who's out there.
Yeah.
But surely you've got Arsenal local, Chelsea local, West Ham local, Tottenham. So many Tottenham, all these clubs, Castle down at Chelsea. I know, like, there's London kids out there doing decent stuff. We just don't seem to find them very often. We've got to have relationships with these clubs.
Yeah, Watford aren't a million miles away.
It's just frustrating. There was a left back at Watford who we were
rumoured with, in the summer. That never.
I don't know what happened to him. I think he's still at Watford. It wouldn't surprise me if that kid's name started getting spouted out again. So they're there. Yeah. Just got to find them. Yeah. Just got to find them and take them forward. But I think there'll be a few players in. Whether or not we see them as fast as what we'd want to, who knows? But I mean, we're facing, like you said, Cardiff City. We're top of the league.
Yeah.
In 6 days' time. Yeah. If we don't sort ourselves out, we could get absolutely
in problems. Yeah.
All right, that's players in, aware of time, players out. So I think we're pretty much on the same board that we expect Perkins to probably go,
DJ to probably go.
I mean, there's an interesting one about Obiero, who's now in the squad and starting games, who I don't think Rishi fancies.
He wouldn't have signed a new 2-year contract if he didn't fancy him.
No, but I think he wants to kind of bring him on. I don't think he fancies him yet. Like, do you send him out on loan? Do you keep him in the squad?
Keep him in the squad for the time being, but Zach might not be happy with that, and he might look to push a move away. But ultimately, if we don't allow him to go, he doesn't go. But equally, he needs game time, and it would be good. I mean, he did well. He did well the other day against Wimbledon. Didn't do much wrong. Tried, put effort in. Aggressive when he needed to be. He's a good player. There's a good player there, and if he gets a good run of games, then you could see a much more rapid development and evolution of his game playing in our squad versus sending him out. But equally, he needs game time, and it depends who we sign. So I don't necessarily see him going. because if Joe White goes back, for example, as a midfielder, I don't see, which I suspect he probably has, I don't necessarily see anyone coming in because that's not the priority for us at the moment. The goalkeeper, the left back, is more of a priority, and probably someone to play alongside Backington. Because Sean Clare's at right back at the moment, because that's the spot.
Again,
so I think those are the three at the moment.
I think there's quite a few players out of contract in the summer, and I think there's a few. If a club was willing to sign them on a better deal than what we would offer them, I think we could let them go. I think there might be a bit more movement out. Than what may be anticipated.
Yeah,
and obviously that would free up a wage for other perm deals to come in. I definitely think there will be some late drama at Orient, because I think there always is. I think they're always looking to see who's coming into higher clubs to push down another tier of players. And I think that for those players, sometimes you have to wait a bit longer. But I would hope they've already got a list together of kind of their first choice. So I'm not talking about third or fourth choice. I'm talking about who they've identified and who they want for their first choice, and they go and get them. And if they never get in their first choice picks off their list or whatever they're working from, then their lists aren't relevant. Because if you're never getting your number one target, then what's going wrong somewhere?
Yeah, what's the point on there?
Yeah, agree. So
because I put Ronaldo as my number 10, right?
But I think a few times now, Richie said like he will never name names, and you wouldn't expect him to. But a couple of times he said like we had A, B, or C in mind, didn't get A, B, or C, and then we've got option 3 or 4, and that's where those players have come from. But if we haven't got option A or B because they've been offered another 200, 300 quid somewhere else, then so it's a difficult one. I expect a few to go. Could there be some surprises? Maybe. I don't know. We will see. I mean, it's only the 4th of Jan as we're recording this. We've still got a month, but knowing that the team and the squad are in this slight decline, you would hope 2 would be in for Cardiff, at least.
I don't honestly see that happening, to be honest with you. I honestly don't. If it does, great, as long as it's the right player, obviously. I just don't see it. I can't see it happening. We just don't move that quick. We never have done.
We will see. All right, at 1 hour then, 40 minutes, 49 seconds.
Yeah.
It's time to wrap up this bad boy. So we do Fantasy Football League in both the Premier League and the EFL. In the Premier League, we are currently waiting for the table to update. So this will go out of date fairly soon. But as it stands, on the app, Nicholas Kraft leads the way on 1,244 points. He's ahead of Chad Michael in second place on 1,208 points. I'm currently having a shocker. I am in 185th place out of 397 players.
Top half is good enough. T Cornwall is top of the Orient Outlook podcast EFL Fantasy Football League. He's on 1,828 points, ahead of A Blower in second place on 1,751 points. Steve's doing well in 11th, and I'm not doing so well in 35th, and that is out of 64 players.
All right, positives and negatives of the festive fortnight. We've got 2 positives, 4 negatives. 2 positives are, first up, today's postponement.
In a really kind of tongue-in-cheek, roundabout way.
Tongue-in-cheek way, but I feel like we wanted it, right? So you've got time to bring in the reinforcements and maybe to get Happy back, who wouldn't play today, who might feature next week, to hopefully bring in 1 or 2 new players and to hopefully get them being a bit fitter and fresher. That would have been 4 games, I think, in 9 days, so a bit of a kind of a let-off. The schedule comes up. However, Stevenage have only won 2 out of the last 10, so it may have been a good time to play them. They come off the back of a 1-1 draw with Plymouth from New Year's Day, so they didn't have the best result either. So that's one of a positive. Second positive is Big Phil Chinado making his league debut. See, that's an interesting one for me. Do you keep Phil in the squad?
Yes.
At the moment, Happy come back from injury, so you've only got 2 fit centre backs and Phil.
Yeah. So you need to keep him, really.
I think you probably do. Cover. Yeah, I think you do. So well done to Phil Chinado for making his league debut. Negatives in?
Yep, several negatives. The loss to Peterborough.
Yep.
The loss to Luton.
Yep.
The loss to AFC Wimbledon. That's the trio.
We've done this podcast for 12 years. I don't think we've ever done one where we had 3 defeats on the bounce within one episode.
No, I don't. I can't remember ever doing that.
We might
have done in the you know who era.
Yeah, maybe.
They were possibly
all in the same episode though.
Yeah, probably something over Christmas.
Possibly.
No transfers have been confirmed as it stands at the moment. And I also think I'll add another one is the fan base. The mood and the optimism of the fan base is just not there. And everyone's now sort of turning, not just against the players, but Rich's name is being called into some of these pulled into these conversations about buck stops with you, mate. Like, it's your team, your tactics, your setup. It's turning, and it's a noisy minority. I don't dispute, but again, not in the Richie out camp at all. I think he's, like you say, got plenty of credit in playing with me, and I believe he will turn it around. But there are, for the first time, people saying his time. Yeah, we've gone stale under him now, and his time is like we need to freshen up.
Yeah, there's a lot of
negativity in the fan base at the moment.
On the fan base, but it's always going to be when you're 20th in League One, especially after the season we had last season, where we massively overachieved. I think it's easy to forget that. Last year was a huge overachievement, and some massive teams underachieved, which kind of gave us our route back into it. So, 2 positives, 4 negatives. Hero of the week. It's not a player. It's not management. Our heroes of the week are the fans who went to both Peterborough and Luton. So well done for making the journey. Double kudos if you went to both. Next week's fixtures in.
Yeah.
With the festive period now over, we get back to normality. We get back to doing 1 game or 2 game a week podcasts. 1 fixture coming up. The visit of Cardiff City this Saturday, 10th of January. And as luck would have it or not have it, Cardiff City are top of League One after they beat Wigan 1-0 at home today. Obviously, it's FA Cup 3rd round as well. So had Cardiff been in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, this game would be off as well, and we'd have a clear week again to get them in. Obviously, Cardiff are out of the cup. They're coming to us. I think it'll be a full house on Saturday. Cardiff will definitely sell out that end. It'll be noisy. Let's get behind the boys and the team. Give them plenty of support to hopefully get 3 points on Saturday.
They've won 4, drawn 1 and lost 1 at their last 6, so they're in
good form.
Pretty rude shape. So that leads us on to our sponsorship reminder. Don't forget to get in touch with John and their fantastic team of experienced florists. You can call them on 0208 529 4130, or you can contact them on their socials. It's Carol Langley E4 or Essex Biz on Twitter. They're on Instagram and Facebook. Just search Carol Langley Florist, all one word.
All right, so that is it. Thanks for joining us for episode 414, and we do mean it when we say thank you. If you've reached an hour and 45 of this after the Christmas we've had, then fair play to you and a massive thank you. Unfortunately, it wasn't a positive podcast we'd be hoping to do to start off 2026, but the poor set results and the individual team and performances across the board saw us lose all 3 of our festive fixtures to drop precariously close to the League One relegation zone. And the postponement of today's game has brought staff and players some much needed time and rest, and they now have a full week to prepare for the visit of big budget and high flying Cardiff. And the club also have a chance now to bring in a few new faces to the squad, with maybe some outgoings, which we look forward to talking about in our next episode, which will hopefully be a bit more positive.
Fingers crossed. If you're listening on iTunes, please subscribe, give the podcast a 5-star rating, or if you're listening on Spotify, don't forget you can rate the show. You can even leave a comment on each episode, so please do so if you get the chance, and don't forget to follow us or add us to your favourites on your chosen podcast provider, and that way you'll have all the episodes as soon as they're available. We're also on smart speakers, the Fan Hub app, and we're also on YouTube, so listening to the podcast has never been easier. If you've got an older relative, a loved one, an Orient chum, someone who's got a passing interest in the O's who you think would like the podcast, grab their phone, download it for them, and pass the pod.
All right, so we'll be back with episode 415 next week with all the information and views that you could ever need. We look forward to hearing from you, and as always, keep calm. Keep calm, very important. Stay safe. Have a great week, and listen to the Orient Outlook podcast.
Up the O's.
Change